It's a very pretty hotel. This palm tree in the inside decor. We are waiting for the ghost tour to begin. The ghost tour. Hey, I have those things in my living room. They shop at Pier 1 too.
I'm too awesome for anyways.
Jim is making fun of me.
A little bit.
I don't like his method of videography. Mine is much better. This pillow is really comfortable. Yes, I can be a little snotty at times, but my points are good ones. Look, he's on the internet.
I am.
Yeah, I had no idea that was him. Really? I thought he was a ghost.
Hey everyone, welcome to the original Ghost Tours. My name is Ray. I am your host for the ghosts. I hope you're all prepared to be scared. Now, if you'll join me outside, we'll get this party started. Believe in ghosts. Okay, how many are willing to believe if I show you something really amazing? Okay, and I'm guessing those that didn't raise your hands, you were drug along by a family member. You've already decided you're not going to have fun tonight, no matter what. Well, I have good news for everyone. You don't have to believe in ghosts to have a good time on the ghost tour. All the people I'm going to talk about tonight were just that. They were people before they were ever ghosts. I'm going to give you a good bit of history of the island, and we do try to have a little fun with it to make it entertaining for everyone. All I ask is that you give me an open mind, and I will do everything in my power to convince you before the evening is over there is such a thing as ghosts. Now we need to take the ghost oath. Everyone please raise your right hand. Repeat after me, no mumbling.
No mumbling.
I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
To have the time of my life on the ghost tour tonight.
To have the time of my life on the ghost tour tonight.
I will not complain if my feet hurt. I will not ask Ray any questions he cannot answer. I will laugh at all of Ray's terrible, corny jokes.
I will laugh at all of Ray's terrible, corny jokes.
At the end of the tour, I'll give him a big round of applause. And for the rest of my time in Key West, morning, noon, and night, I will tell every man, woman, and child I meet how the original ghost tour is the absolute best thing you can do right now and how to change my life for the better. Alrighty then. Now you know, Key West has been home to some very talented and creative people. Ernest Hemingway, Jimmy Buffett, Shel Silverstein, and Tennessee Williams. Let me assure you, the people that heckle us tonight will not be part of that group. They're going to say such original things as boo! And my personal favorite, woo! When that happens, we have two choices. We can, one, act like a bunch of wimps and ignore it. Who's in favor of that? Good, I thought so. Or we can, two, respond. First thing we do, we make sure they're smaller than we are. That's very important. Once we're sure of that, I will point at them and say 1, 2, 3. When I say 3, everyone points at them and in a loud, clear voice says, "You're doomed." Okay, I'm going to do the tour. You want to do the tour? 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Be at the desk, have the hat. You'll say, "You're doomed." If we all do that together, it will instantly destroy their karma. For the rest of the time they're in Key West, they'll have terrible nightmares every night and horrible hangovers every morning. And occasionally, we do get instant karma. A few weeks ago, I had a girl walk into a fire hydrant after we doomed her. Last fall, a guy rode his bike into the back of a parked car. It does work, but it takes the entire group working together. Now, when I first started the one night, I explained the whole dooming thing to my group. They said, "Yes, Ray, we're with you." We got out on the street, the moped went by, we got booed. I said, 1, 2, 3! And I heard, "You're doomed." That was professionally embarrassing. In an effort to avoid that, we're going to have a practice dooming.
And is waiting for someone to heckle us. He's very excited.
Crossing the ball straight at night. I tell everybody you got to be doubly careful crossing the streets here. 1, 2, 3.
You're doomed! What is you doomed a small child?
Drunk driving is not a crime so much as it is an art form. So even if you're crossing a one-way street like Fleming here, It's important to look both ways. In Key West, lots of things go both ways.
Oh,
You took an oath. All right, guys, here we go.
I didn't have to take an oath. I love laughing at corny jokes. I married you, didn't I?
1, 2, 3. The story of undying love. A story about grave robbing and necrophilia. Now, if any of you watch HBO's Autopsy, you may have seen this. It's also been on A&E, the Mystery Channel, PBS, and the BBC. It is Key West's most famous love story. In 1927, Count Karl von Kassel came to Key West to run the X-ray machine at the Marine Hospital. At that time, X-rays were the absolute newest technology. I think it's pretty obvious he'd been looking for that woman for a while. In 1929, Elena Hoyos de Mesa died. They had a funeral for her right here in that gray building. That was the Dean Lopez Funeral Home in those days. About 50 people attended. Carl paid for it. He also paid for a mausoleum to be built in the city cemetery. It's about 4 blocks over and 2 blocks down. It had electric lights, a telephone, and an organ. And according to the proctors in the cemetery, Carl sat in there every night and played music to Elena and talked to her on a telephone that was not connected to anything. Now, according to his diaries, one night about 2 years in, Carl's talking to Elena on the phone. She sings to him a song that's very popular on the Cuban radio. The title translated to Black Wedding. It's about 2 young lovers who marry in death and are united forever. Carl took that as a sign. So he took Elena in her coffin to his home, where he wired her bones together with piano wire. He replaced her flesh with mortician's putty and clay, her skin with silk and beeswax. He used glass eyes and her own hair to make her a wig. And then he married her. And for the next 7 years, lived with her as man and wife. And I mean man and wife.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Shortly after he had taken her from the grave, Elena's sister Nana, no one ever suspected him. Even though over the next 7 years, he regularly purchased women's clothing, soaps, and perfumes. I'm thinking lots of perfumes. This is what they saw. Now, this story was covered in every major newspaper in the country. New York, LA Times, Chicago Tribune, Miami Herald, Washington Post. Public opinion was overwhelmingly on Carl's side. You gotta remember, it's 1937. Words like necrophilia were not printed in a newspaper. All most people knew was that that man loved this woman so much he had spent 7 years, as a scientist trying to reanimate her, to bring hundreds of marriage proposals in the mail. Locally, opinion wasn't quite so positive. We had a few more details here. Face down in a coffin, dead, on top of Elena Hoyos de Mesa. During that 3-day period, he created a second one. Remember, he worked in a hospital. Parts is parts. He took the original with him to Zephyr Hills, where he continued on. A larger version, there's a guy standing at each end. One of them's his grandfather, the other's the sheriff. They're standing there with fly swatters, smacking people's hands, because everybody wanted to touch her.
Who wouldn't?